Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. On the agenda tonight, we have Free, and they're going to be playing their tune Mr. Big. I've been asked specifically to look at Paul Kossoff's playing, so without further ado, let's get these guys on screen and see how they're getting on.
A great big hole in the ground. Ah, yeah.
I'm just going to stop it there because Paul's one of these players that has his own unique kind of vibrato, and whenever you hear a free track and a solo, you kind of know that it's always going to sound like Paul sounds. And this is one of the things that guitarists who play a lot of notes, it's very hard to get your own identity if you don't spend time on notes, because then you can't do your vibrato. And I've said this before about lots of different players, how they all have a certain sound, and sometimes when a player's playing really fast and then you compare that player to another player who's playing really fast and another player who's playing really fast and another player, you can't tell which one is which. When you kind of look away and you're trying to tell them apart, it's really difficult. Whereas when you've got a player who's playing slowly and another player who's playing slowly, because of the vibrato, you can start to get a personality and start to get a feel as to which is which. And this is the real advantage of spending a lot of time on notes and just holding them and giving them vibrato, is you can actually give it its own personality, and you can kind of show that feel through your guitar when you're playing. So it's one of those things that I tend to lean towards the slower way of playing, just because I feel it gives a little bit more expression. But I do like a little bit of shred here and there. But let's continue on and see how Paul continues. You know, Paul's playing is really cool, and it's really deliberate and intentionally slow and impressive. There's little bits where he kind of starts to kind of push the envelope a little bit, but it's really nice and solid. And the thing about Paul is that it's a really difficult thing to get your own sound when you play lead guitar, and he's one of those players that managed to achieve it through his playing, and his vibrato kind of always having that same frequency means that whenever you hear a track by Free, it's always going to have his personality in the solo. And I think now we're going to be moving over to Andy Fraser on bass, who's going to be playing some tasty stuff as well. So let's have a little quick listen to see what he's getting up to. And that's the first time that we've actually even seen the bass. So yeah, Andy's kind of bass solo didn't get a lot of airtime there, but let's see if they focus on him at all for the rest of it. This always happens with cameramen. Whenever there's an instrument that's doing a solo, they seem to focus on everyone but the person who's doing the solo, and it's amazing how regularly that happens, especially in lead guitar solos, which is really annoying for me because I want to see it. But he seems to be doing the same thing here. And yeah, it's kind of more of a jam session really here. But what I really like about Paul Rodgers is that when the bass is playing his little solo section and the guitarist plays his little guitar solo, he never just stands still. It's like some frontmen look really awkward when the lead guitarist is playing a solo, or the bassists are doing bass solo, or if there's a drum solo. They can actually look quite awkward, whereas Paul just kind of gets into it, and he's one of those kind of natural frontmen. He just kind of gets into the music, which helps you watching it because it makes you feel comfortable. And you can tell, I mean, three are all top players, and Paul's voice is kind of one of those standalone voices. Back in the 70s, you just knew it was him as soon as you heard the song. Not that I was around in the 70s, but when I listen to it now, you can tell straight away he's got one of those unique voices. But anyway, thanks for suggesting this video. Keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys at the next one. Rock!